I have learned that if I want to shift anything in my world, I must first shift myself, not with effort or strain, but with the quiet power of gratitude. Gratitude is not something I give only when things go well. It is the doorway, it is the beginning, it is the secret language of creation itself. I do not wait until the thing appears to feel thankful. That would be foolish. I feel grateful now, because to feel grateful now is to know it is already done. It is already mine. The moment I can feel the emotion of thank you in my heart before the facts confirm it, I am no longer a seeker. I am a possessor. I close my eyes and imagine the end fulfilled. I hear the words I long to hear. I see the scene as it would be were it true. That I do not stop there. I whisper within, thank you. Not with force, not with repetition, but with knowing. Gratitude becomes my home, my natural response to an unseen gift that I already accept as mine. I carry it throughout the day, not to get something, but because I already have it. My gratitude is not a plea, it is a celebration, a song of certainty. When doubt comes knocking, as it sometimes will, I do not argue with it. I return to the feeling. I return to the silence. I return to gratitude, that sacred inner place where all things are already complete. And as I dwell there, the world begins to shift, not by my effort, but by law. Everything I have ever received, every breakthrough, every answered desire, has arrived through this quiet inner thank you. Because when I live in gratitude, I no longer chase, I no longer strive. I remember, I already am what I desire. I already have it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude must never be reserved only for those moments when things appear to be going well. It must not be conditional, reactive, or dependent on outer evidence. True gratitude is not a fleeting emotion, but a permanent dwelling place of the soul. It is not something to be summoned when circumstances are ideal. It is the way we must learn to be, and especially when nothing yet appears to have changed. You see, most people misunderstand gratitude. They think it belongs only after the blessing, after the money arrives, after the healing is confirmed, after the person calls. But this is gratitude as the world teaches it, and that kind of gratitude holds no creative power. It is a shadow, a reflection, a reaction. But creation is not born in reaction. Creation is born in stillness, in faith, in knowing, in the invisible realm within. To dwell in gratitude is to move into the state of the wish fulfilled. It is to walk as if the very thing you desire has already made its home in your life. When I say gratitude must be a dwelling place, I mean that your inner world must become so saturated with the feeling of thank you that it becomes your atmosphere, your language, your breath. You wake in it, you walk in it, and you sleep in it. NBA specialize in gratitude. In the A, gratitude is the thing, not because you see the thing with your physical eyes, but because you have already accepted it in consciousness. This is the great key. Gratitude does not follow the manifestation. It precedes it. It is not the result of things going your way. It is the cause. Gratitude is the evidence of belief. When I feel truly grateful for something that has not yet shown up in my life, I am giving myself the clearest proof that I believe it already exists in some unseen dimension, and that I am simply aligning with it. So, and this is not blind hope, it is not pretending, it is deeper than that. It is the sacred agreement between you and the unseen that says, I trust you. I believe that what I have asked for I have already received. I may not see it yet, but I feel it. I may not touch it yet, but I know it's mine. Gratitude in this form is a declaration of possession, a silent yes to the fulfilled desire. I no longer wait for the outer world to give me a reason to feel thankful. I choose gratitude as my state of being, because I know the world is only a mirror, and a mirror reflects what is already happening within me. If I feel grateful now, the mirror will echo that feeling. The people, the events, the opportunities, they will come, not because I begged or chased, but because I align myself with the feeling of already having. This practice of inner gratitude is not always easy, especially when appearances seem to scream the opposite. But that is the test, not of the outer world, but of your inner conviction. Can you give thanks in the face of delay? Can you be grateful when it looks like nothing is moving? Because if you can, you will see the power unfold. Every time you return to the feeling of thank you, you return to power. Every time you whisper gratitude for what you cannot yet see, you are moving mountains in the unseen. You are choosing to live not by sight, but by inner knowing. You are saying, I no longer need evidence. Our gratitude, when it becomes your dwelling place, no longer asks when, it knows. It no longer wonders how, it trusts. It does not live in lack or hope or delay. It lives in the finished state. It breathes the air of completion. And from that place, everything else must rearrange to match the truth you have already accepted within. So live in gratitude, not as a response to life, but as the cause of it. And watch as the unseen becomes seen, the imagined becomes fact, and the whispered thank you becomes the thunder of manifestation. When you say thank you, you are not simply uttering words. You are declaring ownership. You are stating without hesitation that what you desired is already yours. Gratitude, when it is felt with authenticity and depth, carries with it a profound implication, that there is no gap between you and the thing desired. The world may tell you to be grateful after the thing has appeared, but true creative power lies in being grateful before it arrives, because in truth, it already has. This is not a trick of the mind. It is not a tactic to manipulate the universe. It is a shift in awareness, a knowing that what you have imagined exists now in a higher dimension of reality. And gratitude is your way of claiming it. You do not say thank you for something you do not believe you will receive. That would be hollow. That would be pretending. Oh, you say thank you because you have already received it. Because in your imagination, in your feeling, in your inner world, you already hold it in your hands. Gratitude, when rightly used, is not an emotional reaction. It is a spiritual confirmation. It is your soul saying it is done. You may not see it with your physical eyes. You may not have touched it with your hands. But in your consciousness, it is as real as the air you breathe. And because you know this, you give thanks. Not because you're begging or wishing, but because you know. To feel grateful is to speak the language of the fulfilled desire. You do not thank someone for a gift they haven't given you yet. You thank them when the gift has been placed in your hands. So why would you thank life, the divine, the unseen forces of creation for something you hope might come one day? You wouldn't unless you had already moved into possession within. Gratitude, therefore, is the signal to the world that you are no longer in the state of wanting. You have shifted into the state of having. This is the secret that transforms desire into manifestation. It is not effort, it is not action, it is not struggle. It is the quiet power of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And when you do this, when you dwell in the state of already having, gratitude flows from you naturally. It is not forced. It is not mechanical. It becomes as effortless as breathing. You are not trying to make something happen. You are simply giving thanks. This is why those who live in true gratitude walk with a quiet confidence. They do not chase. They do not plead. They do not worry. They know that what they have claimed in consciousness must appear. For the outer world is only ever reflecting the inner state. And the inner state of gratitude is one of completion, not lack. It is the state of I have, not I hope. Whenever you feel doubt, return to gratitude, not as a technique, but as a truth. Whisper thank you, not to change your situation, but because deep within, you know your situation is already changing. You know that you have entered the state where your desire is not a future event, it is a present reality in another form. And that knowing is enough to give thanks. This is the way I live now. I no longer wait for the world to give me permission to feel blessed. I no longer let appearances dictate my emotions. I wake up with gratitude not because life has handed me everything I asked for in physical form, but because I already hold it in consciousness. I walk through the day giving thanks, not for what is coming, but for what already is. Because I have discovered the truth. When I feel grateful, I am no longer seeking, I am receiving. And from that moment on, all things must come to me. Imagination alone is powerful. Gratitude alone is divine. But when the two are wedded, when imagination and gratitude are fused into one living, breathing experience, you unlock the secret to effortless manifestation. Imagination creates the scene, the image, the experience. Gratitude charges it with life, with belief, with acceptance. One constructs the vision, the other claims it is already done. Together they bring the unseen into form. Most people imagine their desires with a sense of distance. They see what they want, but only as something to be obtained someday. Their imagination becomes a dream machine, not a birthing chamber. The key difference is this. When you feel gratitude during your imaginal acts, you are no longer a seeker. You become the one who has. You shift from desire to fulfillment. The act is no longer incomplete. It is finished. To imagine without gratitude is like drawing blueprints and never building the house. The structure may be beautiful in theory, but it lacks substance. Gratitude is the builder. It is the energy that constructs your inner vision into outer form. When you give thanks within the imaginal act, you are saying, I accept this as real. I accept this as mine. I accept this now. That feeling of deep, natural gratitude is the evidence that you have moved into the state of the wish fulfilled. To continue accepting is to accept that you have moved into the state of the wish fulfilled. Imagination allows you to see beyond appearances. Gratitude makes what you see real in your emotional body. And that is where the change begins, not in the physical world, but in your feeling. The feeling is the secret key that tells the subconscious, this is not a fantasy, this is truth. And what the subconscious accepts as truth, the outer world will eventually reflect. When you sit quietly and imagine your desire fulfilled, do not simply see it, feel it. Do not be a spectator, enter the scene. See through your own eyes. Touch what you would touch. Hear the words of congratulations, the sounds of success. But above all, feel thankful. Let your heart swell with appreciation, as if the thing you once longed for has already happened, and you are now living in the result. That thanksgiving is not make-believe, it is not a game, it is the highest form of prayer. There is a sacred silence in those moments when imagination and gratitude merge. Time dissolves, doubt disappears, you are no longer trying, you are simply being, and from that being, all things arise. You no longer wonder when it will happen or how, you simply rest in the knowing that it already has. That knowing is born out of gratitude. That assurance is anchored by feeling. I no longer imagine just to entertain a better future. I imagine to enter that future now. And I take gratitude with me. I let it fill the room, the atmosphere, the breath of every imagined moment. I let it wrap itself around every scene. Because I understand now, without gratitude, imagination is a hope. But with gratitude, imagination becomes a claim, a declaration, a possession. So when you imagine tonight, when you close your eyes and see the life you desire, do not open them again until you have felt the joy, the relief, the peace, the thank you that says, this is done. Hold that feeling, let it linger, let it soak into your being until you forget it was just imagination. Because the moment you feel that it is real within, it must become real without. Imagination shows you the world as it can be. Gratitude tells you it already is. And when the two are joined, the world must obey. You do not beg for blessings. You do not chase results. You go within, you see clearly, and you give thanks. And in that quiet union of vision and gratitude, you become the master of your reality. When you begin to live in the frequency of thankfulness, something astonishing happens. You stop noticing what's missing. You stop focusing on what's wrong. Your attention is no longer rooted in lack. And that subtle but profound shift allows life to pour itself into your world. You become a magnet for the things your heart once yearned for, not because you begged, not because you tried harder, but because you finally become available to receive. Gratitude makes you receptive, not passive but open. Open to miracles, to abundance, to ease. In the absence of gratitude, we resist, we block, we tense up, thinking we must control every outcome. But when you are grateful, truly grateful, you surrender, you trust, you breathe in the present moment as enough. And in that state, all that you once chased begins to find its way to you. You no longer live in the question of how, you live in the answer of yes. And this is the secret. You are not manifesting things, you are manifesting states. The outer objects are simply reflections of the inner atmosphere. So when your inner world is flooded with gratitude, your outer world must conform. It cannot remain the same. It must reflect the peace, the fullness, the joy you are now broadcasting. Life listens to how you feel far more than what you say. And gratitude is the clearest statement of faith you can make. So let it be more than a morning ritual. Let it be more than a list you write. Let it become your state of being. Wake up grateful not for what you see, but for what you know is on the way. Go to sleep giving thanks not for the world as it appears, but for the unseen world that is already shifting in your favor. Let your thankfulness become so natural that even the air you breathe feels like a blessing. You don't need to understand the mechanics. You don't need to control the process. Just stay aligned, stay thankful, stay inwardly rich. Gratitude aligns you not only with your desires, but with your true self. The version of you who already has, already is, already knows. And when you live in that version of yourself, life has no choice but to catch up. Persistent gratitude is more than a habit. It becomes your inner language, your unspoken dialogue with the unseen realm. Every thought you think, every silent whisper that runs through your mind is part of a greater conversation. Most people allow these inner conversations to be filled with doubt, fear, and rehearsed disappointment. But when gratitude is sustained, when it becomes your constant companion, it gently begins to rewrite every word spoken within. No longer do you question, will it happen? You begin to hear the answer before the question. It is done. This is not forced optimism. It is not pretending that everything is perfect. Persistent gratitude is a shift in identity. You are no longer the one who waits, you are the one who already received. And the mind, which is always listening to itself, takes note. The internal chatter starts to align. The stories you used to tell yourself about delay, rejection, and lack lose their grip. Gratitude changes the tone, the rhythm, the energy of your self-talk. It may feel unnatural. You may still catch yourself rehearsing the old fears, the same loops of what if it never happens. But if you gently return again and again to the feeling of gratitude, not for what you see, but for what you know, you begin to change the atmosphere within. You no longer resist your desire, you no longer fight for it. You live as though the answer has already been given. Gratitude becomes your response to the unseen promise. Every time you say thank you in silence, every time you whisper, I'm so grateful, this is mine, without any outer proof, you reinforce the truth within. You confirm to your subconscious that the desire has already materialized. The subconscious does not need evidence. It responds to feeling, it responds to repetition, and persistent gratitude plants the seed of fulfillment again and again, until one day the inner becomes more real than the outer. When that day comes, the world rearranges itself to match. This is not about trying to convince yourself. It is about living in a state of such deep thankfulness that doubt no longer has a voice. You wake up thankful, not because your desire has arrived in form, but because you are already living with it in consciousness. You carry that feeling with you throughout the day. You answer fear with gratitude. You answer delay with certainty. And you answer confusion with calm thanksgiving. Your inner world becomes quiet, still, and full. It is in this quiet that creation takes place. Not in the noise, not in the mental effort, but in the silence filled with assurance. Gratitude speaks to the unseen like a lover's whisper. I know you are here. I know you are mine. Thank you. And in that sacred exchange, you become a participant in divine creation. You no longer beg, plead, or push. You receive. Even when nothing appears to be changing, even when the world seems unmoved, keep going. Keep thanking. Keep blessing. Keep holding the inner conversation that speaks as one who already has. This is the secret to enduring faith. Not effort, but surrender. Not proof, but trust. Not waiting, but receiving in consciousness. Gratitude is not merely an emotion, it is a declaration. It is the language of the fulfilled. It tells the unseen, you can rest now, I believe. It tells the subconscious, this is who I am. It tells the outer world, I am already whole. Let gratitude be the final word in your thoughts before sleep. Let it be the background music of your imagination. Let it soften your doubts and open your heart. Because when persistent gratitude becomes your inner conversation, your life begins to mirror that truth. not someday, but now. Gratitude is not simply a nicety or a moral virtue. It is a spiritual weapon, a powerful tool that dissolves doubt the moment it is sincerely felt. You cannot be in a state of true gratitude and simultaneously be consumed by uncertainty. They do not live in the same space. Gratitude is the language of assurance, a quiet but unwavering declaration that says, I know it's already mine. It may not yet be in your hand, but it is already in your heart. And that, in the realm of creation, is enough. Doubt is the voice of separation. It is the internal echo that says, maybe not. What if it doesn't work out? Or, I'm not sure I'm worthy. But gratitude has no room for such noise. Gratitude arises from union. Union with your desire. Union with the unseen. Union with the infinite source. When you are thankful, not as a reaction, but as a state of being, you silence the inner conflict. You silence the how and the when, because you already live in the yes. This is why gratitude is not merely an after effect, it is a cause. It is a spiritual position, a deliberate shift into faith. And when you enter this state, even quietly and without fanfare, you become magnetic to your own destiny. Gratitude doesn't require shouting or striving. It carries within it a confidence so deep. It doesn't need to prove itself. It doesn't need to prove itself. It simply is. And in this isness, this present, settled joy, everything begins to change. Most people try to kill their doubt by fighting it, by reasoning with it, by chasing more evidence. But you do not kill darkness by analyzing it. You remove it by turning on the light. Gratitude is that light. It fills the space where fear once lived. It does not argue with the doubt, it simply replaces it. Like the rising sun, it doesn't push away the night, it makes it irrelevant. When you give thanks for what you have already received in consciousness, you affirm the reality, the unseen. You become a participant in creation, not a beggar outside its gates. You stand in the feeling of fulfillment, and doubt has no choice but to fade. Why? Because the mind cannot occupy two opposing states at once. You cannot believe and disbelieve in the same breath. So the one you feed, the one you dwell in, becomes your truth, and gratitude feeds belief. Gratitude also softens the heart. It takes you out of mental effort and into emotional certainty. It invites you to rest, not because the journey is over, but because you've already arrived internally. And once you've arrived within, the outer world will follow. It always does. It must. The law is unbreakable. As within, so without. This is why you must train yourself to return to gratitude, especially when doubt begins to whisper again. You must learn to interrupt the pattern, not with resistance, but with thankfulness. Even a quiet thank you, said in the middle of fear, is enough to begin the shift. Even a soft breath of appreciation for what's to come realigns you with the truth of your being. You may not see results instantly, but you will feel the peace. And that peace is the signal, the sign that you have returned to the center of power. From that center, all things are possible. From that center, all things are already done. Gratitude is the evidence of faith. It is the proof that you believe even before you see. And this kind of belief, the one that rejoices without condition, is the belief that transforms reality. Not with force, but with ease. Not with anxiety, but with quiet joy. Gratitude is certainty wearing a smile. It doesn't need to shout. It simply says, thank you, and means it. And gratitude becomes your dwelling place, not just your reaction. Everything changes. You no longer wait for signs, you become the sign. You no longer ask if it will happen, you know it already has. Gratitude is the invisible bridge between where you are and where you desire to be. It aligns you, transforms you, and carries you into the reality you've already imagined. It is not a trick. It is truth in motion. When you feel thankful before anything shows up, you call it forth, you harmonize with it. You embody it. So live in gratitude, not as a performance, but as a posture. Let it color your thoughts, your imaginations, your conversations with yourself. Replace the waiting with receiving. Replace the doubt with silent knowing. Gratitude does not chase, it attracts. It confirms to the unseen that you are ready, and that you already are. Thank you for walking with me through this truth. Thank you for believing with me that the unseen is more real than what we see. Stay in gratitude and watch the world bow to your inner conviction.
The most profound journey we can undertake is not one that involves traversing physical landscapes, but rather the journey within, the inner exploration of our own consciousness. This journey transcends the limitations of the external world, for it is in the depths of our inner self that the true treasures of life are found. The world outside, with all its noise and distractions, often pulls us away from this essential path. We get caught up in the pursuit of external goals, validation from others, and material success, believing these things will fulfill us. But in reality, they are fleeting and shallow compared to the infinite richness that lies within. Walking the inner path requires a deliberate shift in focus. It is a choice to turn inward and explore the landscape of our thoughts, emotions, and desires. The external world presents us with endless distractions, social expectations, judgments from others, the constant need for approval, but these things are mere reflections of a deeper reality. Our inner world is the true source of power, creativity, and wisdom. It is here that we can uncover the truth of who we are, beyond the roles we play and the identities we have adopted in society. This inner journey is not always easy. It requires courage to face the parts of ourselves we may have ignored or suppressed. But in this confrontation lies great potential for transformation. As we walk inward, we begin to recognize the limiting beliefs that have held us back, the fears that have kept us small, and the desires that have remained unfulfilled. The more we explore, the more we realize that we hold the power to change these aspects of ourselves. We are not victims of our circumstances, we are the creators of our reality. The power of imagination becomes a key tool. Imagination is not a mere escape from reality, it is the faculty through which we shape it. When we walk the inner path, we begin to use our imagination consciously, envisioning the life we desire, and aligning our thoughts and feelings with that vision. This is the true act of creation. The outer world responds to the inner reality we project, and as we change within, the world around us transforms. The mind is freed from the distractions of the outer world, allowing imagination to flourish. It is in these moments of quiet and introspection that the power of imagination becomes most evident. Without the noise of external opinions or the pressure to conform to societal expectations, the mind is free to explore possibilities that often remain hidden in the busy flow of everyday life. Solitude creates the ideal environment for the imagination to roam unbounded, where it can conceive of new ideas, visualize future realities, and connect us to the deeper parts of our being. Imagination is more than just a mental exercise or a form of escapism. It is the very tool through which we create our reality. Everything we experience in the physical world first originates in the realm of imagination. Whether we are aware of it or not, we are constantly using our imagination to form ideas, interpret our experiences, and set the course for what we will encounter next. In solitude, this creative power is amplified as the absence of external distractions allows us to focus entirely on the inner world. Here, imagination becomes a force of creation, shaping the future that awaits us. The mind gains the clarity to visualize with greater depth and precision. we begin to see beyond the limitations that society or our own experiences may have imposed on us. This is where true transformation happens, when we can imagine ourselves and our lives in ways that defy current circumstances. The imagination, when nurtured in the quiet of solitude, knows no bounds. It is not tethered to what has been, but is open to what could be. It holds the blueprint for a life we have not yet lived, for a reality we have not yet experienced. This power of imagination is particularly important because the images we hold in our minds shape the outcomes we experience in life. As we imagine, so we create. If we constantly dwell on limitations, fears, or past failures, we unknowingly recreate those experiences in our reality. But when we use solitude to consciously shape our imagination, focusing on the life we truly desire, we begin to shift the energy we bring into the world. The more vivid and consistent our imaginative efforts, the more likely they are to manifest in physical form. This is the essence of creative power, using the inner vision to bring forth outer reality. Solitude allows us to dive deep into this process without interference. In these quiet moments, the mind is free to dream, to expand, to entertain possibilities that may seem improbable in the rush of daily life. It is in solitude that our greatest ideas often emerge, ideas that can change not only our personal circumstances but also the world around us. History is filled with examples of individuals who, in moments of isolation, used their imagination to conceive revolutionary concepts, create masterpieces, or envision futures that seemed unattainable to others. When we consciously embrace the power of imagination in solitude, we take control of our lives in a profound way. We begin to see that we are not victims of circumstance, but creators of experience. The solitude provides the space to reconnect with our deepest desires and envision new paths forward, empowering us to manifest a reality that aligns with our highest aspirations. This practice of imaginative creation, nurtured in quiet moments alone, holds the key to transforming not just our individual lives, but the world at large. Solitude is not a retreat from life, but an opportunity to engage with it more fully. It offers the stillness needed for our imagination to awaken and begin the process of creation, unimpeded by the outside world. The power of imagination, when cultivated in these moments, becomes a beacon guiding us toward the life we wish to create. Reliance is more than just the ability to depend on oneself. It is a profound form of spiritual strength. When we cultivate self-reliance, we are developing an inner foundation that is independent of the external world. We stop seeking validation, approval, or support from others and instead turn inward, recognizing that the source of all we need, strength, wisdom, guidance, resides within us. This is the essence of spiritual self-reliance, knowing that we are connected to a higher power within, one that empowers us to navigate life with confidence, regardless of external circumstances. The path to self-reliance often begins with the realization that the outer world is unpredictable and unreliable. So relationships, jobs, material possessions, and even the opinions of others are subject to change. And if we base our sense of worth or security on these external factors, we will find ourselves in a constant state of instability. True strength comes from cultivating a reliance on the self, the deeper self, that is connected to something far greater than the temporary conditions of the world. When we develop this inner reliance, we tap into an infinite source of energy and resilience. Spiritual self-reliance means trusting in our own inner voice, our intuition, and our ability to shape our reality. Often society encourages dependence on external authorities, whether it be institutions, experts, or even loved ones. While guidance from others can be helpful, relying too heavily on external sources can weaken our connection to the higher self. In contrast, self-reliance encourages us to trust our inner guidance, to listen to the quiet voice within that knows the path we should take. This requires a level of faith in ourselves, in our inner wisdom, and in the universal intelligence that flows through us. This inner strength also manifests as self-confidence. When we are self-reliant, we are not easily swayed by the opinions or judgments of others. We no longer feel the need to conform or seek approval, because we know that our worth is not determined by outside forces. We become immune to the fluctuations of praise or criticism, rooted instead in a deep sense of self-assurance. This is not arrogance, but a quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing who we are and what we are capable of. We recognize that the power to create our life lies within us, and we do not need anyone else's permission to pursue our dreams or live authentically. Self-reliance also involves taking responsibility for our own lives. Rather than blaming circumstances, other people, or fate for our situations, we recognize that we are the creators of our experiences. This is a powerful realization, for it places the control back in our hands. We no longer see ourselves as victims of life, but as active participants, capable of shaping our reality through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. This mindset of responsibility is a cornerstone of spiritual strength, as it empowers us to make changes where needed and trust in our ability to overcome challenges. Self-reliance becomes a form of spiritual liberation. We free ourselves from the need for external validation, the pressure to conform, and the fear of failure. Instead, we rely on the deep inner, knowing that we are connected to a higher power that guides and supports us. This connection to the divine within gives us the strength to stand alone if necessary, to walk our own path, and to trust that we have everything we need to succeed. Ultimately, self-reliance is the realization that we are never truly alone, for we are always supported by the infinite power within us. The art of mental focus is one of the most valuable skills we can cultivate, as it holds the key to shaping both our inner and outer realities. In a world filled with distractions, the ability to concentrate our mental energy on a single point is rare. Yet it is precisely this ability that allows us to create and manifest the life we desire. Mental focus is not just about concentration in the traditional sense. It is a deliberate, conscious act of directing the mind toward a specific goal or thought with intention and clarity. This practice, when mastered, becomes the foundation for personal transformation. At its core, mental focus begins with the understanding that thoughts are powerful creative forces. Every thought we hold in our mind contributes to the reality we experience. Whether we are aware of it or not, our lives are shaped by the dominant thoughts that occupy our consciousness. This is why the art of focusing our mind is so critical. It allows us to deliberately choose the thoughts that will create the outcomes we desire, rather than letting random or negative thoughts dictate our future. Mental focus requires discipline, for the mind is naturally inclined to wander. Left unchecked, it flits from one thought to the next, often latching onto worries, doubts, or distractions. The ability to harness and control this wandering mind is what sets apart those who achieve their goals from those who do not. Focusing the mind is like training a muscle. The more we practice, the stronger it becomes. Each time we consciously bring our attention back to a chosen thought or goal, we are building our mental strength. Another aspect of mental focus is the practice of presence. In today's fast-paced world, many of us find it difficult to be fully present in the moment. We are often distracted by past regrets or future worries. However, the art of focus requires us to bring our attention to the here and now. The present moment is the only place where we have real power. It is where our thoughts have the most energy and where we can actively create change. By cultivating presence and focusing on the current task, goal, or desire, we channel all of our mental energy into one point, magnifying its power. Mastering the art of mental focus is about becoming the conscious director of our thoughts, rather than letting the mind be influenced by external distractions or inner fears. It requires intention, discipline, and practice. But with time, this skill transforms our ability to create the life we desire. When we learn to direct our mental energy toward a single purpose, we harness a creative force that can manifest profound change, allowing us to live in alignment with our highest aspirations.
Detachment from external opinions is one of the most liberating practices one can cultivate. It involves releasing the need for approval, validation, or recognition from others and turning inward for a sense of self-worth and guidance. while social acceptance has been ingrained in us from an early age, allowing external opinions to shape our identity often leads to a life that is not truly our own. True freedom comes when we can stand firmly in our truth, unaffected by the judgments, praise, or criticism of others. This detachment from external opinions is not an act of indifference, but a profound act of self-reliance and personal power. To understand the importance of detachment, we must first recognize that everyone views the world through their own unique lens. People's opinions are shaped by their experiences, biases, and beliefs, which may have little to do with the reality of who we are or what we are capable of. If we base our self-worth on these shifting and subjective perspectives, we will forever be in a state of uncertainty, as external validation is fleeting and inconsistent. Detachment allows us to step away from this instability and root our sense of self in something far more enduring, our inner knowing and personal truth. When we seek approval from others, we give away our power. We begin to mold ourselves to fit into other people's expectations, often at the expense of our own authenticity. This leads to a life that is out of alignment with our true desires, passions, and purpose. Detachment, on the other hand, returns that power to us. It allows us to live authentically, without fear of rejection or judgment. We are no longer swayed by the opinions of others because we understand that their views do not define us. Instead, we rely on our own inner compass to guide us, trusting that we know what is best for ourselves. This detachment does not mean we reject all feedback or isolate ourselves from others. There is value in constructive criticism, and we can learn from the perspectives of those we trust. However, the difference lies in how we process this input. When we are detached, we can listen to feedback with an open mind, evaluate its relevance, and then choose whether or not to incorporate it into our lives. We are not driven by the need to conform or gain approval, but by a desire for growth and self-improvement that aligns with our values and goals. Detachment from external opinions also leads to a greater sense of inner peace. When we stop worrying about how others perceive us, we free ourselves from the anxiety and stress that comes with constant self-monitoring. We no longer expend energy trying to control or manage other people's perceptions. Instead, we focus the energy on living in alignment with our own truth, which brings a deep sense of contentment and fulfillment. This inner peace becomes a source of strength, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with calmness and clarity. Detachment from external opinions strengthens our relationships. When we are no longer seeking validation from others, we can engage with people from a place of authenticity. We are not trying to impress or win approval, we are simply showing up as our true selves. This creates deeper, more meaningful connections based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than a transactional exchange of approval-seeking behavior. Detachment from external opinions is about reclaiming our personal power and recognizing that we are the authors of our own lives. When we detach from the judgments and expectations of others, we gain the freedom to pursue our own path, live according to our values, and express our true selves without fear. It is a profound act of self-respect and spiritual maturity, allowing us to live with integrity and confidence, knowing that our worth comes from within. Oneness with the higher self is a profound realization that we are not separate from the divine essence within us. The higher self represents the part of our consciousness that is connected to the infinite, to the source of all creation, wisdom, and love. This deeper aspect of who we are transcends the ego and the limited perceptions we often have of ourselves. It is the eternal, unchanging truth of our being, and connecting with it brings a sense of peace, purpose, and clarity that is unattainable through the external world. To experience oneness with the higher self is to recognize that we are not merely physical beings bound by time and space, but spiritual beings having a human experience. This understanding shifts our perspective on life, allowing us to see beyond the superficial roles we play and the identities we've constructed. We begin to understand that the higher self is the true source of our power, creativity, and inner wisdom. It is always guiding us, even when we may feel lost or disconnected from it. The challenge lies in quieting the mind and ego enough to hear its voice and trust in its guidance. The journey to oneness with the higher self often begins with self-reflection and introspection. As we turn inward, we start to recognize the difference between the ego's desires driven by fear, insecurity, and external validation and the higher self's guidance, which is rooted in love, peace, and an unshakable knowing of our worth. The ego seeks approval, status, and control, while the higher self encourages us to align with our true purpose, to express our authentic selves, and to act from a place of compassion and integrity. The more we attune ourselves to the higher self, the more we are able to distinguish between these two forces within us. One of the key aspects of oneness with the higher self is the realization that we are never truly alone. In moments of solitude or challenge, when the ego might feel isolated or overwhelmed, the higher self remains present, offering a constant source of support and guidance. When we are aligned with the higher self, we no longer need to look outside of ourselves for direction or answers. We understand that all we seek, the clarity, the peace, the strength, exists within us. The higher self is a reflection of the divine, and in embracing this connection, we come to understand that we are part of something far greater than our individual experiences. Achieving oneness with the higher self requires a practice of mindfulness and surrender. It means letting go of the need to control every aspect of life and trusting that the higher self is always leading us toward our highest good, even when the path ahead seems unclear. This trust allows us to release fear and doubt, knowing that we are always supported by a deeper intelligence that sees beyond our limited perspective. It is through surrendering the ego's need for control that we allow the higher self to take the lead, guiding us toward greater fulfillment and spiritual growth. Oneness with the higher self brings a sense of interconnectedness with all of life. As we realize our divine nature, we begin to see that same essence in others. This understanding fosters compassion, empathy, and a deeper sense of unity with the world around us. We no longer view ourselves as separate from others, but as part of a collective whole, all interconnected through the same universal energy. The experience of oneness with the higher self is the ultimate realization of our true nature. It is the understanding that we are not limited by the physical world or the ego's constraints, but are eternal beings connected to the infinite. This oneness brings a sense of purpose, peace, and fulfillment as we live in alignment with our true nature and the divine flow of life. It is through this connection with the higher self that we find true freedom and the ability to navigate life with grace and wisdom. In conclusion, the journey of self-discovery and empowerment is a deeply personal one that requires us to turn inward, focusing on our inner strength, imagination, and connection with the higher self. By cultivating mental focus, detachment from external opinions, and self-reliance, we unlock our true potential and learn to navigate life from a place of spiritual alignment. The power to create our reality lies within us, and by embracing oneness with our higher self, we step into a state of peace, clarity, and purpose. Thank you for being part of this transformative journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in each of our lives when we begin to sense that the life we seek, the dreams we long for, are within reach. Yet the path is often subtle, marked by signs that, if ignored, might be easily missed. Today we explore 10 of these signs, signs that you're not just dreaming about success, you are walking the path toward it. Imagination is often dismissed as mere fantasy or daydreaming, yet it is the most potent tool we possess for creating our reality. At its core, imagination allows us to envision possibilities beyond our current circumstances, transcending the limitations of the physical world. Every great achievement, every innovation, and every transformation begins in the realm of imagination. It serves as the fertile ground where the seeds of our desires are planted, nurtured, and eventually brought to life. When we understand imagination as the seed of reality, we recognize that it is not simply about visualizing an outcome, it is about engaging with that outcome on an emotional and vibrational level. The images we create in our minds carry energy, and that energy sets in motion the forces that shape our experiences. It is through imagination that we first encounter the person we aspire to become, the life we wish to live, and the achievements we seek to accomplish. Our ability to imagine is directly correlated to our ability to manifest. When we fail to visualize our desires, we diminish our capacity to bring them to fruition. The process of imagination requires intention. It is essential to approach this practice with a clear sense of purpose and a deep belief in the possibilities that lie ahead. When we imagine, we must immerse ourselves fully in the experience, allowing ourselves to feel the emotions associated with our envisioned outcomes. This emotional resonance is crucial. It acts as a magnet, drawing our aspirations closer to reality. If we can feel the joy of achieving a goal or the satisfaction of overcoming a challenge, we align ourselves with the frequency of that reality, setting the stage for its manifestation. Furthermore, imagination does not exist in a vacuum. It interacts with the world around us, influencing our perceptions and decisions. The more vividly we imagine our goals, the more likely we are to notice opportunities and connections that align with our visions. This is not mere coincidence, it is a fundamental principle of how our consciousness shapes our reality. By nurturing our imagination, we expand our awareness and become receptive to the myriad of possibilities that surround us. This process is often obstructed by doubt and fear. Many individuals dismiss their imaginative visions as unrealistic or impractical, stifling their creative potential. This inner critic can become a formidable barrier, preventing us from tapping into our imagination's full power. To overcome this, we must cultivate a mindset of openness and curiosity, allowing ourselves the freedom to explore our dreams without judgment. The more we embrace our imaginative capabilities, the more we fortify our belief in our ability to create the life we desire. Also serves as a guiding compass. In times of uncertainty or adversity, it is our capacity to envision a brighter future that propels us forward. It reminds us of our purpose and the possibilities that lie ahead. When faced with challenges, we can turn to our imagination to visualize overcoming obstacles, which instills hope and motivates us to take the necessary steps toward our goals. Imagination is not just a whimsical escape, it is a vital aspect of our creative process and a powerful catalyst for change. It empowers us to break free from limitations, challenge the status quo, and explore the full range of our potential. By recognizing imagination as the seed of reality, we unlock the doors to possibility, harnessing its power to transform our lives and manifest our deepest desires. Embrace the gift of imagination, for within it lies the blueprint of your future, a future waiting to be realized through the power of your own creative vision. In the end is a transformative concept that invites individuals to adopt a mindset of fulfillment and success before those outcomes manifest in the physical world. This approach encourages us to envision our desired realities not as distant dreams, but as present experiences. By embodying this perspective, we align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with the state of being we wish to achieve. It is an invitation to experience life from the viewpoint of our goals already accomplished, allowing us to tap into the creative power inherent in our consciousness. Living in the end requires us to detach from the physical evidence of our circumstances. Often we find ourselves defined by our current situations, allowing external realities to dictate our feelings and thoughts. This leads to a cycle of limitation and frustration, as we wait for the outside world to change before we feel fulfilled. However, by consciously choosing to imagine our desires as already fulfilled, we disrupt this cycle. We shift our focus from the obstacles and challenges that may currently surround us to the abundant possibilities that lie ahead. To truly live in the end, we must immerse ourselves in the emotional landscape of our desired reality. This means not only visualizing the outcome, but also engaging with the feelings associated with achieving it. Imagine the joy of a long-sought promotion, the peace of financial freedom, or the love of a fulfilling relationship. When we embrace these feelings, we create an energetic resonance that aligns us with the frequency of our desires. This emotional connection acts as a catalyst, drawing those experiences closer to us. Living in the end empowers us to become active participants in our own lives. Instead of passively waiting for circumstances to change, we take ownership of our thoughts and feelings. This requires discipline and practice, as it is easy to fall back into patterns of doubt and worry. However, each time we consciously choose to align with our desired outcomes, we strengthen our belief in their inevitability. This belief becomes a powerful force, reshaping our reality according to the visions we hold. Another significant aspect of living in the end is the recognition of the interconnectedness of our experiences. When we embody the feelings of success, joy, and fulfillment, we not only change our internal landscape, but also influence the external world around us. Our thoughts and emotions emit vibrations that impact our interactions with others and the opportunities we attract. By maintaining a consistent state of being aligned with our desires, we become magnets for the people, situations, and circumstances that reflect our envisioned outcomes. In the end also involves cultivating gratitude for what we have and what we are about to receive. This practice shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance. By expressing gratitude for our current blessings, we create a positive feedback loop that amplifies our feelings of fulfillment. This attitude of appreciation reinforces our belief that we are worthy of our desires and encourages the universe to respond in kind. Living in the end is not merely a mental exercise, it is a profound practice that transforms how we engage with life. By choosing to embody the feelings and thoughts of our desired realities, we reclaim our power as creators. This process involves discipline, emotional alignment, and a willingness to embrace the fullness of our potential. As we cultivate this mindset, we open ourselves to a world of possibilities, allowing the magic of manifestation to unfold in our lives. Ultimately, living in the end serves as a reminder that our thoughts shape our reality, and by living in alignment with our dreams, we can bring them to life. Persistence of faith is an essential quality that underpins the journey toward achieving our goals and realizing our dreams. In a world often fraught with uncertainty and challenges, maintaining a steadfast belief in ourselves and our visions becomes crucial. This unwavering faith acts as a guiding force, propelling us forward even in the face of obstacles, doubts, and setbacks. When we embody persistence of faith, we cultivate a resilient mindset that empowers us to navigate the complexities of life with confidence and purpose. At its core, persistence of faith means trusting in the process and the eventual outcome, even when immediate results are not visible. It requires a deep-seated belief that our efforts will bear fruit, and that every step we take, no matter how small, contributes to the larger tapestry of our aspirations. This perspective is especially vital during times of struggle, when we may be tempted to succumb to despair or give up entirely. Instead of allowing discouragement to take root, we can lean into our faith, using it as a source of strength to propel us forward. One of the most powerful aspects of persistence of faith is its ability to shape our experiences. When we maintain a strong belief in our goals, we begin to align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with that belief. This alignment creates a resonance that attracts opportunities, resources, and people into our lives, further reinforcing our path to success. Conversely, doubt and negativity can create barriers that block our progress. When we believe in our potential, we not only see more possibilities, but also become more open to receiving them. Persistence of faith also fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable, and setbacks are an inevitable part of any journey. However, when we approach challenges with a mindset grounded in faith, we develop the ability to bounce back from adversity. Instead of viewing failures as definitive endpoints, we see them as stepping stones, essential experiences that provide valuable lessons and insights. Each setback becomes an opportunity to refine our approach and strengthen our resolve, reinforcing our commitment to our goals. Cultivating persistence of faith often requires patience. In a fast-paced world, we may expect immediate results and quick gratification. Yet, the path to success is rarely linear. It demands time, effort, and dedication. By embracing patience and trusting in the unfolding of our journeys, we develop a deeper connection to our aspirations. We learn to appreciate the process, finding value in each moment, regardless of its immediate outcome. Surrounding ourselves with supportive influences can also enhance our persistence of faith. Engaging with people who share our vision or who have experienced similar journeys can serve as a powerful reminder of what is possible. Their stories of resilience and triumph can reignite our belief in ourselves and our potential. Conversely, distancing ourselves from negativity and skepticism both internally and externally creates space for our faith to flourish. Persistence of faith is an act of self-empowerment. It invites us to step into our full potential, recognizing that we hold the power to shape our realities through our beliefs and actions. By committing to this unwavering faith, we become architects of our lives, capable of manifesting our deepest desires and aspirations. This mindset transforms challenges into opportunities and fears into fuel for growth. As we cultivate persistence of faith, we embark on a journey filled with possibility, where our dreams are not just distant visions but realities waiting to be realized. Through this lens, we can navigate the complexities of life with resilience, hope, and an unshakable belief in our own potential. Embracing setbacks as guides is a transformative perspective that allows individuals to navigate the challenges of life with resilience and purpose. Often viewed as failures or obstacles, setbacks can be powerful teachers if we shift our mindset and recognize the lessons they offer. This approach encourages us to see each challenge not as a roadblock, but as an integral part of our journey towards success. When we embrace setbacks, we open ourselves to growth, self-discovery, and the potential for future achievements. Setbacks are an inevitable part of any pursuit, whether in personal, professional, or creative endeavors. Life is inherently unpredictable, and while we may plan and prepare, unexpected challenges will arise. It is easy to become disheartened or frustrated when things don't go as anticipated. However, adopting the mindset of embracing setbacks can transform our relationship with adversity. Instead of succumbing to disappointment, we can view setbacks as opportunities to pause, reflect, and reassess our strategies. When faced with a setback, the first step is to acknowledge our emotions. It is natural to feel frustrated, angry, or sad when encountering obstacles. Allowing ourselves to experience these feelings is important. It is a crucial part of the healing and learning process. However, the key is not to become stuck in these emotions, but to use them as fuel for reflection. By taking a moment to step back, we can analyze the situation more objectively, identifying what went wrong and what we can learn from it. Setbacks often provide valuable insights that we might not have gained otherwise. They can reveal weaknesses in our plans, highlight areas for improvement, or clarify what we truly want. For example, a failed project may point out gaps in our skills or knowledge, prompting us to seek further education or mentorship. By embracing setbacks as guides, we become more adaptable and open to change. We learn to pivot when necessary, allowing our experiences to inform our future actions. Viewing setbacks as guides fosters resilience. Each time we encounter a challenge and emerge from it with newfound knowledge, we strengthen our ability to cope with future difficulties. Resilience is not just about enduring hardship, it is about bouncing back and using experiences to inform our growth. Embracing setbacks helps us build this resilience as we become increasingly comfortable with uncertainty and more confident in our ability to navigate challenges. Embracing setbacks encourages a growth mindset, a belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. When we perceive setbacks as opportunities for growth, we cultivate a more positive relationship with failure. This shift in perspective allows us to approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear, opening our minds to innovative solutions and new possibilities. Another crucial aspect of this mindset is the role of patience and persistence. Setbacks may require us to slow down and reconsider our approach, but they also remind us that success is rarely a linear journey. By embracing setbacks, we develop the patience to understand that progress often involves winding paths and detours. Persistence becomes our ally as we learn to navigate these challenges with tenacity, using each experience to refine our strategies and strengthen our resolve. Embracing setbacks as guides transforms how we perceive and respond to challenges. Rather than seeing obstacles as failures, we can recognize them as vital components of our personal and professional growth. By adopting this mindset, we learn to reflect on our experiences, cultivate resilience, and maintain a growth-oriented perspective. Each setback becomes an opportunity for learning and self-discovery, guiding us closer to our goals. Ultimately, this approach empowers us to navigate life's complexities with confidence and grace, understanding that every setback can lead to a greater understanding of ourselves and our paths forward. Emotional alignment is a powerful concept that emphasizes the importance of harmonizing our emotions with our desires and aspirations. It is the practice of ensuring that our feelings, thoughts, and actions are congruent with the outcomes we wish to manifest. When we achieve this alignment, we create a fertile environment for our dreams to flourish. In contrast, when our emotions are misaligned with our goals, we often find ourselves struggling, feeling stuck, or experiencing self-sabotage. Understanding and cultivating emotional alignment can significantly enhance our ability to create the life we desire. At the heart of emotional alignment is the recognition that our emotions are powerful indicators of our internal state. They serve as a barometer of whether we are in harmony with our desires. For example, if you aspire to achieve a particular goal, such as landing a new job, but often feel anxious or doubtful about your abilities, you are likely to experience a disconnect between your desires and your emotional state. And this misalignment can create obstacles, making it challenging to take the necessary steps toward your goal. Conversely, when you align your emotions with your aspirations, feeling confident, excited, and open to opportunities, you enhance your capacity to attract what you desire. To cultivate emotional alignment, the first step is to become aware of your emotions and how they relate to your goals. This self-awareness allows you to identify any negative feelings or limiting beliefs that may be holding you back. Journaling can be a helpful practice in this regard. By writing down your thoughts and feelings, you can gain clarity about what you truly desire and where your emotions may be misaligned. This process of reflection encourages you to examine the underlying beliefs that inform your emotional responses. Once you have identified any misalignments, the next step is to consciously shift your emotional state. Techniques such as visualization, affirmations, and meditation can be invaluable tools in this process. For instance, when visualizing your desired outcome, immerse yourself in the feelings associated with achieving it. Imagine the joy, excitement, and fulfillment that come with realizing your goals. By consistently engaging with these positive emotions, you create a powerful vibrational frequency that attracts similar experiences into your life. Affirmations can also reinforce emotional alignment. By repeating positive statements that resonate with your aspirations, you can retrain your subconscious mind to adopt a more empowering narrative. For example, affirming statements like "I am capable of achieving my goals," or "I attract opportunities that align with my desires" can help shift your emotional landscape toward alignment with your objectives. Another essential aspect of emotional alignment is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude acts as a powerful amplifier of positive emotions, reinforcing a mindset of abundance and openness. When you cultivate gratitude for what you currently have, you create a positive emotional state that aligns with the frequency of your desires. This practice shifts your focus from what is lacking in your life to the abundance that already exists, creating a magnet for further opportunities. It is also crucial to recognize that emotional alignment is an ongoing practice. Life is filled with ups and downs, and it is natural to experience fluctuations in emotions. However, by cultivating tools and techniques to bring yourself back into alignment, you develop resilience and the ability to navigate challenges more effectively. This means consistently checking in with yourself, adjusting your emotional state as needed, and maintaining a commitment to your goals. Emotional alignment is about creating harmony between your inner world and your external aspirations. By fostering an emotional state that reflects your desires, you enhance your capacity to manifest your goals and create a fulfilling life. This practice empowers you to become an active participant in your journey, embracing the transformative power of emotions as a guiding force toward your aspirations. Through emotional alignment, you open the door to a life filled with possibility, joy, and meaningful connections, paving the way for the realization of your deepest desires. The power of assumption is a profound principle that emphasizes the impact of our beliefs and expectations on our reality. This concept suggests that what we assume to be true shapes our experiences and influences the outcomes we encounter in our lives. By consciously adopting empowering assumptions, we can manifest our desires and create the life we envision. This process involves a shift in mindset, where we recognize that our thoughts and beliefs are not just passive reflections of our reality, but active forces that shape it. At its core, the power of assumption is rooted in the understanding that our subconscious mind is highly receptive to the beliefs we hold. When we assume a particular state of being such as success, happiness, or love, we send powerful signals to our subconscious, which then works to align our external reality with those assumptions. For instance, if you assume that you are worthy of success, your actions, decisions, and behaviors will naturally reflect that belief. This alignment creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, where your assumptions manifest in tangible outcomes. One of the key elements of harnessing the power of assumption is the practice of visualization. Visualization involves vividly imagining the reality you desire as if it has already been achieved. This technique engages your senses, allowing you to experience the feelings, sights, sounds, and emotions associated with your desired outcome. By consistently visualizing your assumptions, you reinforce them in your subconscious mind, making them feel more real and attainable. This process activates the creative power of your mind, attracting opportunities and resources that align with your assumptions. Affirmations also play a crucial role in leveraging the power of assumption. Affirmations are positive statements that reflect your desired reality. By repeating affirmations regularly, you condition your mind to embrace new beliefs that support your goals. For instance, if you aspire to cultivate confidence, you might affirm, "I am confident and capable in every situation over time." These affirmations shift your internal dialogue, fostering an environment where your assumptions can flourish. It is essential to recognize that the power of assumption is not about denial or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about acknowledging your current reality while choosing to assume a more empowering perspective. Life may present obstacles and difficulties, but how you interpret and respond to those challenges is what ultimately shapes your experience. By assuming a mindset of resilience and resourcefulness, you can navigate adversity with confidence and determination. Another important aspect of the power of assumption is the necessity of persistence. Changing deeply ingrained beliefs and assumptions takes time and effort. It requires a commitment to consistently reinforce your new assumptions, even in the face of contrary evidence. When doubts or fears arise, it is crucial to redirect your focus back to your empowering assumptions. This practice strengthens your resolve and reinforces the belief that you have the power to shape your reality. The power of assumption also highlights the interconnectedness of thoughts and emotions. When you assume a positive belief, you naturally cultivate emotions that resonate with that belief. For example, assuming that you are worthy of love and happiness may lead to feelings of joy, gratitude, and contentment. These positive emotions not only enhance your overall well-being, but also create a magnetic energy that attracts similar experiences into your life. The power of assumption serves as a reminder of the incredible potential within each of us to shape our realities through our beliefs and expectations. By consciously choosing empowering assumptions and nurturing them through visualization, affirmations, and persistence, we can transform our lives in profound ways. This principle invites us to become active participants in our own journeys, understanding that our thoughts and beliefs are not merely passive reflections of reality, but dynamic forces that can create the lives we desire. Embracing the power of assumption opens the door to a world of possibilities, enabling us to step into our full potential and manifest our dreams with confidence and purpose. In conclusion, the journey toward achieving our goals and realizing our dreams is deeply intertwined with the principles we've explored today: the power of imagination, living in the end, persistence of faith, embracing setbacks as guides, emotional alignment, and the transformative power of assumption. Each of these concepts serves as a building block, guiding us to cultivate a mindset that not only supports our aspirations but actively propels us toward them. By embracing these principles, we empower ourselves to take control of our narratives, transforming challenges into opportunities and setbacks into valuable lessons. We learn to visualize our desired outcomes, align our emotions with our goals, and assume the beliefs that serve us best. This holistic approach fosters resilience and adaptability, enabling us to navigate the complexities of life with confidence and grace. As we move forward, let us remember that the path to success is not a straight line, but a winding journey filled with growth and discovery. Each step we take, guided by these principles, brings us closer to realizing our full potential and manifesting our dreams. Thank you for your time and attention today. I encourage each of you to embrace these concepts in your own lives and witness the incredible transformations that can occur when you harness the power of your mind and spirit. Together, let us continue to dream, believe, and create a future filled with possibility. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not a series of random occurrences. It is a carefully orchestrated symphony where each note plays in perfect harmony with the desires of your soul. Every experience you encounter, every opportunity that comes your way, every door that opens or closes is all in alignment with the divine blueprint written in your heart. And at the core of this orchestration is a simple, yet profound truth: always choose what chooses you. The world you perceive around you is not separate from you. It is a direct reflection of your inner consciousness, an echo of your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings. Everything you experience in life is shaped by the state of your consciousness, for it is through consciousness that we create reality. What you choose to focus on, what you deeply believe, and how you feel within, all determine the circumstances you encounter externally. This understanding forms the very foundation of how life unfolds, for nothing exists outside of the awareness that perceives it. At every moment, you are shaping the world through the energy of your thoughts. When you understand this, life becomes no longer a series of random events, but a reflection of the reality you have built within. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are always manifesting your experiences. The law of consciousness tells us that the outer world is a projection of the inner self. It is not enough to merely desire or wish for something externally if the inner state does not support it. True creation begins within, in the deep recesses of your mind and soul, where your beliefs about what is possible reside. Many people attempt to change their external circumstances without first altering their inner world. They may take action, work tirelessly, or push against the challenges they face, believing that through sheer effort they will reshape their lives. But without a shift in consciousness, such efforts often lead to frustration. This is because the outer world can only reflect back what is already established within. It is like trying to change the image in a mirror without first changing the object that is being reflected. To truly transform your life, you must first transform your consciousness. This means aligning your thoughts and beliefs with the reality you wish to experience. If you wish for abundance but hold deep-seated beliefs in lack, you will continue to experience scarcity, no matter how hard you try externally. If you desire love but believe you are unworthy of it, love will continue to elude you. It is not until you change the core beliefs within yourself that your outer world will begin to shift in accordance with those new beliefs. The key to mastering this law is self-awareness. You must become conscious of the thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you hold, and the emotions you cultivate. These are the seeds of your future experiences. When you become aware of the patterns in your consciousness, you gain the power to change them. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the creator of your reality. By deliberately choosing thoughts of abundance, love, and peace, and by nurturing beliefs that support the life you desire, you will begin to see those qualities reflected in your world. The more you align your consciousness with the things you want, the more effortlessly they will appear in your life. Your outer reality will always reflect the state of your inner being. To change the world around you, you must first change the world within. This is the essence of the law of consciousness. Desire is often misunderstood. Many people view it as something to be suppressed or overcome, thinking that to desire is to lack, to want is to be incomplete. But this view misses the true nature of desire. Desire, in its purest form, is divine guidance. It is the universe speaking to you through your inner longings, pointing you toward the path meant for you. When you feel a deep yearning for something, it is not a sign of emptiness, it is the voice of your higher self calling you toward your true potential. Desire is not arbitrary. The things you want most are not random or trivial, but meaningful clues that reflect your soul's purpose. They are invitations to grow, to evolve, and to experience life in alignment with who you truly are. Each genuine desire is a seed planted in your consciousness, waiting to be nurtured and brought to fruition. It is your higher self's way of guiding you toward the experiences, relationships, and opportunities that will lead you to your greatest fulfillment. There is a reason certain desires resonate with you on a deeper level than others. These desires are not just fleeting wishes or whims, they are sacred. They reflect the blueprint of your soul and are perfectly tailored to your unique path. When you feel drawn to something, that pull is the universe aligning with you, offering you a glimpse of what could be if you trust in the process. It is as though the universe is saying, "This is for you. Follow this feeling." It is important to recognize that desire is not merely about material gain or superficial success. True desire goes deeper, touching the core of your being and calling you to express the fullness of who you are. Whether your desire is for love, purpose, creativity, or abundance, it is all part of the same divine impulse. It is your soul seeking to experience itself fully, to manifest in the world as the unique expression of the divine that you are. When you honor your desires and move toward them with faith, you activate a powerful force of creation. You align yourself with the flow of life, and doors begin to open where there were once walls. The right people, opportunities, and resources are drawn to you, not by chance, but because you have chosen to follow the path that was always meant for you. Trust your desires, for they are the compass that will lead you to your highest potential. At its core, embracing receptivity is about releasing resistance. We often place unnecessary barriers between ourselves and what we want, whether through doubt, fear, or limiting beliefs. These mental blocks prevent the flow of what is naturally trying to come into our lives. When you hold on to ideas of unworthiness or scarcity, you push away the very things that are meant for you. By being receptive, you let go of the need to control every outcome and trust that life is unfolding in your favor. You recognize that your role is not to force, but to allow. This shift in perspective transforms how you interact with the world. Instead of chasing after things with a sense of lack or desperation, you begin to trust that what is meant for you will come to you effortlessly. This doesn't mean you stop taking action or working toward your goals, but it does mean that your efforts are no longer driven by fear. Instead, they come from a place of alignment and faith, knowing that the universe is already working on your behalf. You align with the understanding that everything you desire is already seeking you, and your only job is to be in a state of readiness to receive it. Receptivity also requires surrender. To receive fully, you must surrender the need to dictate how and when your desires will come to fruition. Often what we want arrives in ways we could not have predicted or on a timeline that is different from what we envisioned. But this is not a sign of failure or delay, it is part of the divine orchestration of life. By surrendering control, you allow the universe to deliver in ways that may exceed your expectations. You make room for miracles and serendipities that are beyond your limited perception. Another key aspect of receptivity is gratitude. When you are grateful, you signal to the universe that you are open to more. Gratitude raises your vibration and aligns you with the frequency of abundance. It shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is already present, and in doing so, you attract more of what you want. Being receptive means not only being open to receiving new things, but also appreciating what you already have. This creates a cycle of giving and receiving that continues to elevate your life. Embracing receptivity also deepens your connection to your intuition. When you are open to receiving, you are more attuned to the subtle signals and opportunities that the universe sends your way. You become more aware of synchronicities and signs that guide you along your path. Your intuition becomes sharper because you are not clouded by resistance or doubt. In this state, you can make decisions from a place of clarity and alignment, knowing that what you need will come to you at the right time. To embrace receptivity is to live in harmony with the flow of life. It is the art of allowing, of trusting that what you seek is also seeking you. It is understanding that the universe is abundant and always ready to give, but only if you are open to receiving. By releasing resistance, surrendering control, and cultivating gratitude, you position yourself to receive all that is meant for you with grace and ease. The power of imagination lies in its ability to transcend the limitations of your current circumstances. No matter what you are facing in your external world, your imagination allows you to envision something greater. It frees you from the constraints of time, space, and logic, enabling you to tap into possibilities that seem impossible to the rational mind. Through imagination, you can inhabit a future that does not yet exist, but by doing so, you set the wheels of creation in motion. Your mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined, and this is the key to manifesting your desires. When you imagine something with feeling, you activate the creative force within you. This is not just daydreaming or idle fantasy, it is deliberate creation. The images and scenarios you conjure in your mind, especially when infused with strong emotion, begin to take form in the unseen realms of consciousness. Your thoughts and feelings are energy, and energy attracts like energy. When you repeatedly imagine yourself living in a state of abundance, love, or success, you send out a vibrational signal that draws those experiences toward you. In this way, imagination is a magnet, pulling into your life the people, circumstances, and opportunities that match the frequency of your inner vision. The true power of imagination is not just in seeing what you want, but in feeling it as real. The emotions you attach to your imagined scenarios are what bring them to life. If you can see yourself achieving a goal but feel doubt or fear, those negative emotions will hinder the creative process. But if you can vividly imagine your desire and feel the joy, peace, or excitement that would come with its fulfillment, you accelerate the manifestation process. This is why it is often said that what you believe and feel in your imagination becomes your reality. Imagination is also a powerful tool for transformation. When you imagine yourself as a new version of yourself, stronger, wiser, more confident, you begin to embody those qualities. Your self-image shifts, and as it does, your actions and behaviors follow suit. This inner transformation then reflects outward, changing the way the world responds to you. Your imagination is not limited to creating material outcomes. It can also reshape your identity, helping you evolve into the person you wish to become. It is important to remember that imagination works both ways. Just as you can use it to create positive outcomes, you can also unintentionally use it to reinforce negative ones. If you continually imagine worst-case scenarios or dwell on fears, you will attract those experiences into your life. This is why it is crucial to guard your imagination and use it consciously. You are always creating, whether you realize it or not. The question is, are you creating what you want or what you fear? Imagination is your bridge to the divine. It is through imagination that you connect with the infinite potential of the universe. Everything that you could ever desire exists in some form within the field of infinite possibilities, and through the power of imagination, you can draw it into your reality. By aligning your imagination with your highest desires, and by feeling those desires as real, you engage in the sacred act of creation. You become the architect of your destiny, shaping your world not by chance, but by design. Is a quiet, subtle voice within you, often overshadowed by the noise of everyday life, logic, and external influences. Yet, it is one of the most powerful forms of guidance available. It is the inner compass that knows the path you are meant to take, even when the way forward is not clear to the rational mind. Intuition is a deep, knowing feeling, a sense that arises from a place beyond thought and analysis. It is not the result of deliberation or reason, but rather a direct connection to the wisdom of your higher self. The subtle whisper of intuition often appears in moments of stillness, when you are not preoccupied with trying to figure everything out. It can come as a gut feeling, a sudden insight, or a quiet nudge in a particular direction. Unlike the voice of fear or doubt, which tends to be loud and urgent, intuition speaks softly, encouraging you to listen without force. It is easy to overlook or dismiss, because it does not compete for your attention. Instead, it patiently waits for you to tune in and trust its guidance. It is not bound by the limitations of logic or the five senses. While the rational mind processes information based on what it sees, hears, or knows from past experience, intuition operates on a different level. It taps into the collective unconscious, the realm where all possibilities exist. This is why intuitive guidance often feels like it comes from nowhere. It is drawing from a source of wisdom that transcends the linear mind. Intuition sees the bigger picture and guides you toward decisions and actions that align with your highest good, even when you cannot fully understand the reasoning behind them. One of the key challenges in following your intuition is learning to distinguish it from the voice of fear or ego. Fear tends to be reactive, anxious, and based on self-preservation, while intuition is calm and centered, even in the face of uncertainty. Fear often urges you to avoid change or stay within your comfort zone, but intuition encourages growth and expansion. To recognize intuition, it is important to cultivate inner stillness and trust. When you are constantly bombarded by external opinions or overthinking, the voice of intuition can be drowned out. But when you quiet the mind and listen within, you create space for your intuitive guidance to emerge. Trust is essential to following your intuition. Often it will lead you down a path that doesn't make immediate sense or that challenges your logical expectations. You may not always have the full picture, but that is where faith comes in. Intuition works in steps, revealing only what is necessary for the next phase of your journey. When you follow its guidance, even without knowing the outcome, you find yourself moving in the direction of your highest potential. Each step builds your confidence in this inner knowing, and the more you trust it, the more it will guide you. Also speaks through synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that seem to point you in a particular direction. You might meet the right person at the right time, or an unexpected opportunity might arise just when you need it. These moments are not random, they are the universe's way of affirming the path that your intuition has nudged you toward. Paying attention to these signs helps you strengthen your connection to your intuitive guidance. Intuition is a gift that is always available to you. It is the whisper of your soul, guiding you toward the path of least resistance and greatest fulfillment. When you learn to listen to it, to trust it, and to act on it, you align yourself with the flow of life. You begin to make choices that are in harmony with your true self, and as a result, your life unfolds with greater ease and grace. The subtle whisper of intuition is a profound source of wisdom, one that, when embraced, leads to clarity, purpose, and peace. In the unseen is the foundation of true creation and manifestation. It is the understanding that reality is not confined to what you can perceive with your physical senses. Beneath the surface of visible experience lies an infinite, invisible realm where all possibilities exist. To have faith in the unseen is to trust that the things you desire are already on their way to you, even if you cannot yet see or touch them. It requires believing in the process, even when there is no immediate evidence of progress. This type of faith is not about blind optimism, it is a deep knowing that the universe is always working on your behalf. At its core, faith in the unseen is about aligning with the truth that everything you want already exists in a non-physical form. When you set an intention, you are not creating something new out of thin air. Rather, you are aligning with a reality that already exists in potential. Your desires, goals, and dreams are all held in the invisible realm of possibilities, and through faith, you draw them into physical manifestation. This requires patience, persistence, and trust in the process, even when the results are not immediately apparent. One of the challenges of having faith in the unseen is that the physical world often demands immediate proof. We live in a culture that prioritizes tangible results and visible evidence, which can make it difficult to trust in something you cannot yet see. But true faith is about transcending this need for immediate validation. It is about holding on to your vision, even when circumstances seem to contradict it. This is where the power of belief comes in. What you believe about your reality shapes what you experience. If you can maintain faith in the unseen, you allow the universe to work behind the scenes, orchestrating the people, circumstances, and opportunities that will bring your desire into form. Faith in the unseen also involves letting go of control. It means trusting that there is a higher intelligence at work, guiding you toward what is best for your growth and fulfillment. Often we try to force outcomes or micromanage the details of how our desires will manifest. But this approach only creates resistance, blocking the natural flow of life. When you have faith in the unseen, you release the need to control every step of the journey. You allow the universe to surprise you with solutions and outcomes that may be beyond what you could have imagined. Another aspect of faith in the unseen is embracing the timing of the universe. What you desire may not come into your life exactly when you expect it, but that doesn't mean it's not on its way. Divine timing is often at play, ensuring that everything arrives at the perfect moment for your highest good. When you trust in this timing, you free yourself from the anxiety of needing things to happen on your schedule. You understand that delays are not denials, but part of the process of aligning you with the right circumstances for your desire to flourish. Faith in the unseen is about trusting the creative process of life. It is about knowing that your inner work, the thoughts, beliefs, and feelings you cultivate, is just as important, if not more so, than any external effort. When you align your inner world with what you want, you set the stage for it to appear in your outer world. This is the essence of faith, believing that what you seek is already seeking you, even if you cannot yet perceive it. It is this unwavering belief that allows you to move through life with confidence, knowing that everything is unfolding in perfect order, even if the path is not always visible. Faith in the unseen is the key to unlocking the mysteries of creation, for it teaches you to trust in the infinite potential that exists beyond the surface of what you can see. In conclusion, life unfolds through the power of consciousness, desire, imagination, and faith. By embracing the subtle guidance of intuition, aligning with your desires, and trusting in the unseen, you become a conscious creator of your reality. The world around you is a reflection of your inner state, and through awareness and faith, you can shape your experiences. When you learn to surrender control, trust in divine timing, and open yourself to receive, life begins to flow with grace, and your highest aspirations come to fruition. Thank you. Thank you.